I was different writing a message this week. Started a new job. It's very hot, made me very tired. I don't know, Thursday I think, I was in my office to work on my message for a little bit, and I did it quite a bit Thursday night working on my message, but I was tired. And I kept, in the middle of reading and writing, I just kept, my head would be, and I think, I gotta stop. And I was thinking, I'm gonna have to redo all of that, because I can't imagine that making any sense when I'm that tired and my head's not, but no, it was awesome. It made real good sense. I think I might wake up at 3 in the morning and start writing my message. But the title of my message is called Understanding Faith. My goal is to hopefully at least help you understand how I think of it. But when you hear the words faith like a child, what does that mean to you? Mostly, I would imagine we think of the Bible or of Jesus saying those words. Faith like a child means that a child believes because they are told it is so. Whatever it is, a child just believes it because they are told that that's the way it is. They believe what you say. Every day a child believes they will eat when they get home from school. Every day a child believes they are loved by their parents. Every day a child believes their mom and dad, or maybe even both of them, go to work to make money so that on payday they can go to the store and buy stuff. They have faith in these things. These things happen without asking or knowing how it all goes down. Kids have to have faith in their parents because they have no other choice. They have the faith that mom and dad will take care of them. Mom and dad will take care of everything. It's just kind of how kids, you just kind of grow up. That's just kind of how it is. This is something that most kids don't even think about. They don't think about the faith they have in their parents because from birth, this is just how it is. No faith needed. It's just how it is. So when do we lose that faith? Oh, I think the faith we have in our parents is always there. But as we get older and become parents ourselves, why does faith change in us? That childhood kind of faith, that childlike faith, why does it change as we get older? Faith within us changes so much that I don't think we even recognize the faith that our children have in us as parents. Even though we once had that same faith, we've experienced it, but yet we lose it, and it's in our kids, and we still can't see it. As we grow older, why do we struggle with having the same faith in God that we once had for our parents? Here's an even harder question. Why do some struggle to have faith that God even exists? And why are we sometimes trying so hard to find physical evidence of God's existence? Why don't we think like a child does and think that's just the way it is, no faith needed? We just know that He's there. Now to switch it up a little bit, not every kid grows up with the kind of parents you can have faith in, though. In some cases, kids grow up with no parents at all. Where do they learn about faith? In life, we may think some things just aren't fair. It's not fair that some kids start life with less than others. I always think how lucky I am to be born in America. We all do our share of complaining about where the country has gone wrong, but we're still blessed to be born here. We really are. Imagine being born in a place that has never had running water. Could you live without running water after being born in America? Or how about being born somewhere that is almost constantly either at war or under the threat of war? I worry about that, and I don't think it would ever actually come to America. But I worry about that here sometimes. I heard a story of a family that had to leave their country on foot because of war. The man telling the story was young at the time. He said that he will never forget seeing his mother turn around at the border and cry because they were being forced out of their country, out of their home. The image of his mom crying is burnt into his brain. At the concert we went to this past week, we heard a story about a young boy from Guatemala that at the age of 4 was homeless and living alone on the streets of Guatemala. When he was really young, people would take him in and take care of him for a while. Each family kept him as long as they could, but eventually at the age of 4, he was on his own, fighting to stay alive. How fair is that? Now the guy that told us this story said he didn't believe it. He went to the guy and told him, he's like, I can't. How can a 4-year-old keep himself alive? But he said it was real. That really happened. 4-year-old boy, homeless on the streets of Guatemala. I'm going to bring out a point that you may have heard me say before. I know I've used this example before, but I'm not sure if I've used it here or not. If I did, just bear with me. It may sound a little ridiculous, but hopefully I can make it make sense. Take a child that has had everything he has ever wanted given to him with no questions asked. If he's wanted it, he's got it. Price doesn't matter. Everything he has ever wanted, he got it. Now let's say he asks for something and he is told no. A kid that never has things doesn't know what he's missing. But a kid that has everything can really be hurt over not getting just one thing. I sometimes think that it's not fair that I get to have the life that I have. Why do I get to be married to Amber? Why do I get to live my life being happy with her? Why do I get to have a family that loves me and stands behind me and encourages me in my walk with Christ? Why do I get to have you all as my church family? Why do I get all these things? Just this week, Kathy sent me an encouraging message, and I also got to go to the concert with Zach and Amber. Why am I treated so special? Why do I get this life while other people seem to struggle? Sometimes I just think it's not fair. Let's look at what might or might not be fair in a different way. Let's look at James 1, 2 through 4. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So then, comparing the boy that was only told no one time to the boy that was homeless, is it fair or not fair that one seems to face more trials than the other? If trials are given to us to test our faith in order to produce perseverance in us so that we may be mature and complete, not lacking anything, which boy should we feel sympathy for? I feel blessed to live the life I'm living with Amber. But should I ask for more trials so that the testing of my faith would produce more perseverance in me? No, I shouldn't do that. I have faith that God gives me all I need. God gave me a loving wife. God gave me a loving family. And God gave me a loving church family also. God has given me a great life. And yes, God has given me that through trials that He thinks I need to build my perseverance. That He thinks will build perseverance in me. I'm not going to ask for more. Now let's look at Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see. This is another way a child has faith that a grown-up doesn't. A child is confident that when they go to the store this payday, Mommy and Daddy will buy them something. A lot of children just know come payday they're going to get something at the store. But what about the homeless child? Who's going to buy them something? Sometimes a child has to wait for even greater things. The little boy that Zach and Amber and I heard about at the concert is now a 20-something-year-old man who sings praise and worship in the same town that he was once homeless in. I'm sure God's hand was a part of all of that. Wouldn't you agree with me? When something like that happens, God is in control of that. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. This young man's name is Sammy. I'm sure he was hoping beyond hope for a way off the streets and out of the life he was living. As a young boy with the faith of a child, I'm sure he was confident in his faith. It's just the way kids are. No matter, sometimes as kids, he had to have the mindset of an adult trying to find a way to feed himself, but still, he was still a child. I'm sure there was faith in him, the faith of a child. I'm sure he was confident in his faith. It's just the way kids are. At the age of 4, he probably wasn't even sure what he had faith in. He was probably never shown or never told where to find that faith. I'm also sure he had assurance about what he could not see. He had no way of knowing how or who would lead him through life to the life he is living now. You see, God is taking care of us even when we think life isn't fair. James tells us that if we have faith through our trials, then we will come out with a stronger faith on the other side of that trial. In Hebrews, it says that by faith we have confidence in what we hope for, which means if you have faith in God, you can have confidence that He will give you what you hope for. What if you have faith that God will do something, will do a certain thing for you, but it never happens? This is where the second part of Hebrews 11:1 comes into play. Faith isn't about getting what you want. Faith is about wanting what God has for you. Faith is about what we do. Faith is about what we do not see. God sees what we need. God sees what's coming in our lives. He sees what we need when we can't see it. I say this a lot to people. Imagine something you want very much, but God doesn't give you this thing that you think you want so much. The thing that you want so much that you think it's important enough to pray to God. If God says no to this very important thing, then He must have something even better in mind than what you're thinking. This is where we need to really be paying attention, because we may never know what God thought was even more important than what we were praying to Him about. We need to be very aware of our assurance of things we do not see. I want to say that paragraph again. This is where we need to really be paying attention, because we may never know what God thought was even more important than what we were praying to Him about. We need to be very aware of our assurance of things we cannot see. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean it isn't happening. You might ask, how can we be aware of something we do not see? This, my friends, is faith. Some things we do not need to know. We don't need to know everything because God does. If we put faith in Him, that's all we need. We don't need to know everything. Now there's a song I've been listening to a lot lately. It's called Through It All, or Through All of It. It's by Colton Dixon. One of the verses goes like this. You were there when it all came down on me, when I was blinded by my fear, and I struggled to believe. But in those unclear moments, you were the one keeping me strong. This is my story. This is how my story's always gone. In our unclear moments, when we can't see all the things going on around us, when we can't see how the things happening today will affect our future, our faith in God will keep us strong. Because He does know the answers to the things we cannot see. The chorus is like this: I have won and I have lost. I got it right sometimes, but sometimes I did not. Life's been a journey. I've seen joy, I've seen regret. Oh, and you have been my God through all of it. Faith is letting God be your God through all of it. We may think sometimes that life doesn't seem fair. We may all think that childlike faith or blind faith is not realistic for grown-ups. But it's what God asks us to do, to blindly believe come payday, He will buy you something. What does that mean? When we ask Him for something, He will give us something. Sometimes you'll see it, but sometimes you won't. Faith is believing God will answer whether you see it or not. This is what I want us to focus on today during our communion. What does your faith look like? Can you say that you have a childlike faith? Can you say that you blindly follow God and believe He answers you when you can't see anything changing in your life? Think on that while we partake.